We're going to go ahead and sink our teeth into this, and we'll start from Abuja today. Markwe.
Well, thank you, Chamberlain. Joining us right now is Mr. Femi Adesina, who is Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity. You're welcome to Sunrise Daily.
Thank you.
I'm sure that you're very full of ecstasy, a lot of joy over the weekend.
Very much so.
How is it receiving the President?
Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. It was a time for thankfulness, a time for rejoicing. When the door of the aircraft opened and he emerged, it was a glorious feeling.
Some people were very surprised, though. I mean, the timing of the statement, you know, letting Nigerians know that the President was coming back to the country. Initially, people were wondering if it was a hoax, or, but later on they saw, you know, that you had signed it. And you also did say that he was going to give a broadcast this morning, which he's done, which is what, you know, a lot of people would like to look at. But they're going to divide it into what was said and what the President did say in about 7 minutes or so, and what wasn't said. Now, let's focus on what was said. The President did say that he's been following issues at home, and he, you know, he addressed frontally the issues of unity and security. But then, you know, some people will also say, when you look at what he said about security, you know, what he intends to do, and the fact that the National Assembly will be the body, the appropriate bodies, the National Assembly and the National Council of State, the appropriate bodies to handle some of these things, you know, concerning unity. Is it going to be passing a memo on to them, or is it going to be sending, you know, some bill to the National Assembly concerning issues that have been raised on restructuring?
Well, you know that legally and statutorily, those two bodies are the ones that can decide on certain things in the country. The Constitution vests that responsibility in them. So there's no way you will sidetrack them. Anything you will do will have to pass through them if you want to follow due process. Yeah,
naturally. But then, you know, the National Assembly did request, I think when they also discussed, just before they went on recess, not too long before they went on recess, they did ask the executive arm of government to raise some of these issues that have been discussed by Nigerians over the years, especially in the 2014 National Conference, put it in a bill and send it to the National Assembly.
And the fact that it's in the President's first broadcast to the nation shows that something is going to be done in that direction. How exactly it is to be done will be a matter of procedure, which I'm not privy to for now.
Let's talk more about, you know, because you did say that it's going to be a matter of, it's committal and yet non-committal.
It's committal. It's committal. Because the President is trying to tell the country that these two bodies are the ones that can make pronouncements about certain things that have to do with our nationalism, our togetherness, our unity. And there is a process that will lead to that. So it's just a matter of saying, yes, action will be taken in that direction.
And again, he emphasized that Nigeria's unity is non-negotiable.
Yes. Which I agree with. I agree with. It may be discussed, it may be fine-tuned, but then breaking apart is not an option. That's my personal opinion.
How do you think, you know, because he was very worried also about troublemakers, the people who he believed will start trouble for others to carry at the end of the day. How do you think the presidency, now that the president is back, is going to be handling people whom they perceive as troublemakers?
You know that our president is a very firm man, very firm. And there are certain things he does not brook. And anything or anybody that will constitute a danger to the unity of the country, you know that the president does not take that line low at all. So if it comes up that anybody, anything, or any group or any influence is going to be deleterious to the unity of the country, trust the president to act on it.
He also told the story of how, you know, Chief Emeka Ojukwu came and stayed as a guest in this hometown in Daura. Why do you think that the president had to tell a bit of the story?
The president is a man of vast experience. So if there was that parley between him and Ojukwu, it is very, very good that he reveals it at this time. And he said that their conclusion at that meeting was that Nigeria must remain one. So those who are pandering to secessionist ideals should remember that the man who led the first secessionist bid recanted on it before he died.
Well, would there be any more meetings with, you know, people can say what it is that they want. I mean, would he be meeting with other leaders of the Southeast to at least hear out their grievances, to see how it is that they can smoothen, you know?
He's the father of the father of the country. A father listens to everybody in the family. Don't forget that the acting president then had met with various stakeholders. So government is always a continuum at all times. I'm sure by the time he gets full briefing, he decides what to do next.
Do you think that that speech should have come after full briefing?
No, then it would be rather late. It would be rather late. Some people even felt that that speech should have been done on Saturday. It was like some people felt it was putting them on tenterhooks, waiting to hear what the president would say. They wanted to hear him on Saturday. So waiting for full briefing before he speaks may delay too much. And don't forget, this is just one step, and there will be many other steps.